I've gone ahead and started tracing the back panel, but my fabric is not enough, so I'm tracing it one after the other. So this is just one piece of cloth, but if your fabric is enough, just fold it on itself and cut it to just once. But I'm going to have to cut mine twice. So what I did is to add 3 inches from the crotch where the front line stops, and then I added extra 2 inches for the back part here, which will be my seam allowance all the way up. So this is where your seam allowance will come in. You can add 2 inches here or 2.5 inches here, and then mark it all the way to the end. And then when you get to the end, this is where the front panel of the pant stops, right? This is the piece of the front panel, right? But what you have to do is from this point here, you add 2 inches. So from the front panel, you add extra 2 inches on top here. So this is for your butt, because the butt is at the back, and then it contains more space, but the front doesn't have anything that takes up space. So that's why the front is shorter than the back panel. The back panel is longer by 2 inches. If you're more on the bigger side with bigger butt, you can add maybe 2.5 or more. So that's why I added this. And then from the 2.5 that you've added, you just blend it down to this point, the other end of the pant. So you slide it down this way and make sure it hits this point here where the front panel stops. So you can see it's almost like a triangle all the way to this top here. And then after that, from this point here, you mark 1 inch from the end of the front panel of this pant here. So this is the extra 1 inch I added, and then you trace that 1 inch from the end of this pant here, and that is it. You won't add any extra seam allowance on this side, just on this side here. So I'm going to trace mine out now. So guys, I've cut my waistband for the front and the waistband for the back. So the waistband for the back is about 4 inches because width-wise, because I'm going to just put elastic into it and fold it just once on itself this way and pass my elastic. But the waistband for the front is going to be this way. I'm going to fold it this way, fold it in, and then place it this way. So it's going to be like a band. It won't have any elastic. What I normally explain when I say put elastic at the back and then just finish up the front this way is you put your band. It doesn't matter however wide the front of your pant is. When you finish attaching it together, just attach your band to it and then pass the elastic at the back enough to adjust the waist. Just pass elastic at the back. Any amount of elastic that will cinch in the waist of your pant is what you need. So I'm going to do mine and show you. So guys, this is what I'm trying to explain. This is the front of my pant, right? I've attached the 2 pieces of the front together. From here you could see I joined the 2 front pieces together. This is it here, and then I gave it a dart. The dart is about 8 inches long. I gave it a dart, right? 2 darts in front. So now the waist of my pant is cinched in a little bit, although it's not my exact waist, but it's smaller than the hip now, because if you look at it, it's smaller here and then it wides out on this part here. So what I'll do now is to attach my band. So what I'm going to do is to fold my band the way I told you I'm going to fold the band, right? I'm going to just fold it. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and attached my band, and then I ironed it. So I'm going to show you now. I'm cutting out the excess from the band, right? So I'm going to cut out the excess from the band. So this is what the front of my pant would look like here, just like this. And then see the back of the pant here. I made a loop for elastic here. As you can see, this band is not the same here. This one, I just flipped it over and made a loop for elastic. So what I'm going to do is take this one here, put it in front because it's the front panel, right? When I put it in front, I'm going to stitch this end close, right? But when I say add elastic, you're just going to put your elastic from this loop here, pass it all the way to the end here, and then cinch it in, like gather it enough to fit your waist. You're not going to, this part is not what you're going to adjust. The only adjustment you do here is with your dart. But the cinching in of the waist will come in from this back panel, the back part of the pant, because as you can see, it's very wide. There's no dart to bring it in. There's nothing to shape it. I didn't cinch it in at all. So you just have to pass your elastic here so that you can gather it a little bit and then cover it with this here. So after passing the elastic, then you can close the 2 ends. So now what I'm going to do is to finish up my side. When I want to pass the elastic, I'll still show you guys. So guys, this is the waist of the pant here, right? This is the band, this is the back. So what I have to do now is to pass my elastic. I want to show you guys how I'm passing the elastic, right? So guys, I've gone ahead and closed off one end of the elastic. If you look closely, you will see the elastic at this end here, right? This is the back, this is the front. So what I'm going to do is to drag this elastic and just keep pulling on it until I feel like this can fit my waist. Then I'll stop. So I'm just going to keep pulling on it. I don't know, like if you want, you could try it on, wear it and feel and get the feel of it. If it's not tight enough, then you just pull it some more. I think this is okay for me. You would make it tight because remember it doesn't have any zip, so you would want it to fit perfectly, because if you make the back to slack, then this front part will not be straight. But if you make it tight at the back, then it will pull this front part so that when you wear it, it looks very straight. So I'm going to pull mine some more and then I'm going to close it off now. So if I close it off now, this is the waist of the pant. Okay. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and closed off the elastic. This is what the pant looks like right now. So I'm going to fold the end and finish up the pant. So I'll move over to making the jacket now. So guys, this is the jacket here. What I did here is to pull the jacket to the end, right? Make sure the two ends are touching each other. And remember, initially we made the back longer than the front, and this is why, because now I pulled it over, because this is the extra 4 inches I added to the back, right? You remember I added 4 inches plus 2 inches at the back, but in the front I added just 2 inches. So the 4 inches came up here because now I've elongated this part. I made this part to be the same length as the front, to be the same length as the back. So now all I have left is the 4 inches here. So what you do with it is to fold it here, flip it here, and then pin it down here on the shoulder, because it's supposed to come on top of this shoulder. So now this is your new armhole here. This is my new armhole, and remember, because of this extra 4 inches, now I have a new piece of fabric here. I'm going to trim this out. So this is my new armhole. And as you can see, I made a stitch here just to hold this 5 inches that I gave this here, just so that it doesn't confuse me. I'll still remove this stitch later. So what I'm going to do now, as you can see, I've trimmed off all the excess fabric from the back panel on here. So, and if I open this, you would see the neckline is starting to form. So what I'm going to do now is to go and hold this stitch down here, and then hold this stitch down here, and come. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and attached one sleeve. I just wanted to tell you guys that to attach the sleeve, right, remember when I was cutting the armhole, I told you to add extra 1 inch to your sleeve width, because I told you to add extra 1 inch, because once you flip this 4 inches on top of this here, and remember we cut out some piece of cloth here, it makes your armhole even bigger. Your armhole even, because this is now your new armhole. And imagine if I used 10 was my initial armhole. If I used 10, this is where my sleeve would have stopped, and then I'll have this excess. I can't complete the sleeve. But remember, I added 1 inch. Almost 1.5 inches was what I used for my own. So if you're making yours, you might want to add maybe 2 inches, because mine is actually 12 if you want to get to the end of this point here, and that is what I have. Mine is 12 inches, but I told you guys to add 1 inch. So if you're making yours, try to add 2 inches extra, except if you feel like 1 inch will be enough for you. But I'm just telling you that your initial armhole will not be the same armhole when you're making the jacket once you flip this back of the shirt on top of the front panel. So and once you do that, you have a new shoulder. So you just notch the shoulder so that you know that this is your new point for your shoulder. So I'm going to attach my sleeve. And remember, I also notched my sleeve at the same center point here. So I'm just going to put it in here and sew it up. So I'm going to come back and show you how to finish up the neckline. The next thing I did after attaching everything now is to just check my neckline from this point here and check it all the way around to the other end here. So mine is 16, right? And when you want to do it, leave about 1 inch at the end here, 1 inch at each end, right? So you leave 1 inch at the beginning, 1 inch at the beginning here. So if I check mine without this end here is 16. So now that 16, I folded this fabric into 2, right? And then I cut it out here. So this is about 16, but you add about 1 inch to it, right? If you add 1 inch to it, that will be half an inch on this side and then half an inch on the other end, so that you can tuck in these ends here. So that's the reason why I added half an inch. So in total, what I have here together is 17 inches. So now what I'm going to do is to sew and close the end here, sew it and close the end here, and then try to fix it into this neckline over here. So guys, here is the outfit here. Paired it with a sneakers. That's the trouser. You can pair it with something else. That's the jacket. As you can see, it's not full length, it's 3/4. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. So yeah, bye.